Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Before I Do, the show that shares everything that should be done before saying I do. For those of you engaged, dating, want to be married, don't know if you want to be married, single, this is the show for you. Our goal is to facilitate courageous conversations on those topics relevant to dating and relationships.
Yeah, so it is intended to be interactive. So please locate the comment section, right?
Yes.
Put in your questions. Tonight is Q&A. So definitely put in your questions.
Yes.
However you're feeling about something, show us some love. If we say something that you just like, if you was in a poetry spot, you'll give us some snaps. But definitely let us know. We want to connect with you. So put your questions there, your comments, and so we can engage with you tonight on tonight's show.
I was just getting ready to say tonight is one of my favorite nights of Before I Do because this is Q&A night. It's Speak Now. Before I Do's Q&A night. So we are here to answer your questions. So you can put those questions in the chat and we are going to cover them live right here on Before I Do. And so really excited about it because this gives you the opportunity with those burning questions that you want to have answered or just to even have discussed. Maybe you think a certain way and want to get some feedback on how it is. Man, we love having these types of courageous conversations and it's amazing the things that you learn. And so I always learn a lot from you. And so even with those of you who are attending as well, we always appreciate your comments and your feedback. All right, so we got a first comment.
Yay.
Dr. Walter Charmaine say, hey, y'all, love your look tonight, Charmaine.
All right, I'm trying. No, thank you so much.
Curls and color popping. I mean, you can't really argue about that. You can't knock it. All right, so we actually have some questions that are coming in. And so we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. So let's see, question number one. Let's see, let me make sure I get my... All right, so question number one. After dating a couple times, how do you know if the guy really likes you or is just trying to take advantage of you?
Man, so after dating a couple of times, this is a huge question because I think you first have to unpack, okay, you've been dating someone for a couple of times. What is the quality of those dates, right? And I don't know how much pre-work happened before the date, because everyone has a dating process. So it's really hard to answer this question without knowing your dating process. But what I will say is be intentional with dating. First off, it's kind of like a job interview. And I know this is probably the worst metaphor ever, but I liken it to a job interview. Nowadays, when you go to apply for a job, they will ask you to put down at least 3 people or organizations who could be a reference. And back in the day, they used to check your references after they invited you in for the interview. And but now they don't do that. They check your references a lot of times before they even spend their time to call you in for the face-to-face. So I asked the question when it comes to dating, every person has their process. Some people date for recreation. So some people aren't actually trying to get to know you. That it's just recreational. It's a social event. It gives them a chance to have a meal with someone and get to know someone. And so everyone goes into dating with a different agenda. If you are dating to be married, then that's a whole nother ball game. And it requires quite a bit. So how do you know if a guy likes you? First off, I'm going to tell you your prerequisites for dating. You want to make sure you're on the same page.
I'm just listening.
You want to make sure you're on the same page and that you're dating people who are on the same track that you're looking for. They're on the track to get married. A lot of people are open nowadays and they'll tell you, it's just for fun. I'm dating for fun. I'm not looking to date to get married. So how can you tell if a guy likes you? I think it'll be a guy who won't waste your time. He'll be pretty honest and straightforward about who you are, what he likes about you. And I guess for me, it goes back to, I can tell if a guy likes me if he likes what I like about me. So what do you like about you? So for me, unfortunately, as a woman of color, sometimes gentlemen look at me and I feel like, you looking at my breast, you looking at my butt, you looking at my curves, but do you see me? So for me, my value is placed on my intellect. Can he have an intellectual conversation with me? Is he an intellectual equal? So I judge whether someone truly likes me if they like what I like about me. They demonstrate it not just in words, but in actions. And they show that those things have value, not just my body and not just my assets.
So let me chime in here because this is actually a gender-based question. The question
I shouldn't have been answering.
No, you're absolutely well within your right. But that's why I'm just sitting back because again, this is a gender-based question. So the question was, after dating a couple of times, how do you know if the guy really likes you or is just trying to take advantage of you? All right, so. What I will tell you is this.
I need to get the bell ready.
Yes, you definitely need to get the bell ready.
Let me make sure this is the good working one.
Here's the thing. Okay, and you've already alluded to it. The first thing is that everybody dates for a reason. Mm-hmm. Everybody is coming for something. Mm. So the question is, what did you come for and what did they come for? So everybody's coming looking for something. Mm. Now, here's the second thing about generalizing men. And you alluded to it. You have to watch what we say. You have to watch what we do more than listen to what we say. You have to watch what we do more than listen to what we say. Wow. Men have most men. I don't want to general. I want to get into. I don't want the cancel culture to come and get me.
Well, then you have to say
some men. A lot of men. Most men have been trained as the pursuers, as the salesman, as the person that can say and sell anything. So we will say what we need to say in order to get what it is that we came to get. So to help protect yourself in that scenario, first of all, your greatest asset is time. Make sure that you are not in a rush, that you take your time. And as you are taking your time, you are observing. So you're watching. And are his actions aligning with his words? What is he saying versus what is he doing? Are they contradictory? Where are they contradicting? That is a really important part of really discerning exactly what he came for and if he likes you or if he is actually there to accomplish a goal of getting something from you.
So that's trusting, that's that trust but verify.
Absolutely.
Right? But let me ask you this. Okay, I'm going to stretch this question a little bit more. Is it a fair analysis to observe what a guy likes about himself to see if it's in alignment with, because some guys will be like, a lot of guys are confident, and or at least they appear to be, right? And so, how close in alignment would you say a guy needs to be with what he values about himself to see if that is going to largely connect with what a woman values when it comes to herself?
Absolutely. And that's not even a gender-based thing. That's individual based, where as you're getting to know someone, where they spend, how they prioritize their time says a lot about their value system. So that's something you'll want to pay very close attention to as it relates to the things that they're interested in. Where are their passions? What are some of the things that they are doing when they are not with you and when you all are not dating? And so those things oftentimes will show you where their principles are, where their values lie. And so, again, that's part of the watching, but that's watching with your ears, as in you're listening. And so what we like to say is you have to watch with your ears and listen with your eyes. So that's what you're doing. When you're watching, you're actually reversing roles. So now notice we didn't say anything about the mouth. Notice we didn't say anything about the mouth.
Because what mama and them say?
Exactly. You can't tell everything you know.
And mama and them said, if you don't know who mama and them is, you got to find an elderly person in your neighborhood somewhere.
And that's mama and them.
And that's mama and them. Okay. Mama and them will say, you can make your mouth say anything.
Can you ring the bell for that, please? That's my father. That's my father's favorite. That was my father's favorite saying.
Okay.
You can make your mouth say anything.
That's a t-shirt.
And most men will absolutely do that in order to get what it is that they came to get. So definitely make sure what I was getting to it when it came to the mouthpiece. You want to watch, you want to listen, but you don't have to necessarily verbally respond to everything you see and hear.
Yes.
This is a part of your evaluation process in being able to really think through what it is that you're seeing, and then being very intentional and strategic with your questions. And when you're asking questions, you're asking for clarification about what you're seeing, about what you're hearing, in a way that isn't accusatory, but really allows you to really be able to get to know that person more and to understand them better and to see if their principles and values align with yours.
I pose a question: what do you like about you, ladies? Because I'm going to tell you like this. You know, there were times that I was in a relationship and I could not confidently say what I actually liked about myself. And so if you allow yourself to wait for somebody to pour that into you, what they like about you, it's easy to become a chameleon. You start shaping yourself now around what they like about you. And so because you have no basis, you have no framework, no baseline. And because of that, you can be in a relationship with somebody 4, 5, 10 years, and the relationship ends and you realize, man, you know, I felt good about myself in the relationship, because you conformed. You became a chameleon to what that person liked because you came into it without establishing what do you like and love about yourself. And so we largely do a lot of work, not just with couples, but individuals, because you need to individually love yourself and be healthy and make sure you value you before you try to attach yourself to somebody else's value.
And that actually leads into our next question. So question number 2, is there a right amount of time you should wait to marry someone? If so, how long should you give it? Now, this is a great question. And obviously it varies from couple to couple and from relationship to relationship. You'll hear people say, you know, I met this person and I knew from the second date that they were the one, or we dated 4 months, or we dated 6 months. There are some people that they've been dating 5, 10 years and they still haven't chosen to marry yet. So obviously this question is obviously subjective to the individuals that are in the relationship. But what we will say is that you should not marry someone unless you have gone through all 4 seasons with them.
All right.
You should not marry someone unless you have gone through all 4 seasons with them, which is part of a book. Dr. Paul Smith has a book called 4 Seasons of a Love Relationship. And in that book, he talks about the 4 seasons in a relationship. And so the first season, the season that you meet someone is the springtime. It is it's the dating light. It's fresh. It's new. You know, you may get a little bit of allergies, but the allergies even cute because everything is exciting. Everything is colorful. Everything is vibrant. Right. And then moving on to the summertime, that's when it starts to get hot, right? Hot and heavy. And you start rounding some of those bases. You start having some not only physical intimacy, but exploratory intimacy, doing different things together, figuring out the things you like and don't like. And so it's a great time. But then you begin to move into the fall. And the fall is when you start to really begin to lose those layers, to take off those masks.
Lowering the inhibition.
Exactly, right? Where you really begin to see the person for who they are, flaws and all. And then as you move from the flaws, you go into the winter. And that is where the challenges lie, where you really see that person and some of their baggage and some of their issues, some of the things that they may have come into the relationship with, that they may have carried with them from their childhood or from their previous relationships. So all of those things, what we like to say is that you're going from good to great until you experience good, great, bad, and challenging. Yeah. And all that adds up is up to real. So encountering and making sure that you have gone through all 4 seasons with an individual before you marry them is a critical thing before you make that jump.
And every couple go through those seasons at different paces, right? Because yes, you can have some truly deep, impactful moments with individuals where you do go through those 4 seasons. Some people can do it, may be able to do it in 6 months. Yeah. It doesn't have to be a span across a year. Some people might be able to do it in 9 months, right? And then of course there's that spiritual layer. So there are individuals who literally, they're spiritual beings, and they just they get a word from God. They get that spiritual release, and they'll tell you, you know what? God told me that this is my wife. God told me that this is my husband. And while I might not be confident in all my choices, I'm confident in what God tells me, and I know I have a strong ear to hear from God. So we just encourage you, one, consider if you're a spiritual person, then you strongly need to obey your spiritual governing, right? And then make sure you have gone through those 4 seasons, and the pacing is different for every couple.
Absolutely. All right, question number 3. What is your opinion of online dating apps, its effectiveness, and what it says about our culture? All right, so you're gonna be honest with the people and just let them know that we come.
Yes, I'm gonna be honest with the people.
So just so you all know, so we come from the era. We are probably one of the last eras, right, where she has a box of handwritten letters from me. Tapes that I made. Some of y'all like tapes. Cassette tapes when we put music on there.
And you remember the name of the cassette?
No, well, I want to say that in front of the people. So we're probably one of the last of that era where we actually have physical handwritten letters.
Mementos.
Yeah, I have a box of her letters as well, and those are things that we. When we have our anniversary parties and things like that, we break those out for people to see, because it's a symbolic gesture of our love, but it's also a reminder of the work of that we put in to get to where we are. Yeah. Suffice that to say,
that there wasn't no texting.
We didn't have that, and what we want to say is we do not villainize this day and age. The culture that we live in is digitized. Yes. It's virtual. And so when it comes to online dating apps and things of that nature, that is a part of this culture. That is a part of the way people connect and meet one another. And so there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. They're very useful tools. There are some really good sites, but just like anything, you want to be very careful of how you navigate them. Absolutely. You want to make sure that you protect yourself in the process, and make sure that you are also, as you walk through it, requiring certain things of the individual that you meet, because obviously there is a layer or veil of secrecy and discretion and exposure that you don't necessarily that you can maintain because of it being virtual and digital. Well, so just making sure you protect yourself.
It goes back to like dating, where the person's representative shows up. Mm-hmm. My representative can show up right on the first date, second date, even 3 months in. I can present to you and give you the package that I want you to see. Well, online dating definitely adds that layer. I mean, let's be real, y'all. I didn't wake up looking like this. Okay, so with online dating apps, I can present myself like I can look like Beyonce online. I can put a picture up there. I can filter this, filter that, alter this, alter that. I can present to you whatever I want. So our opinion about dating apps is, first of all, it is a part of the culture. More than 31% of millennials use dating apps to connect with people. So it is very much a part of our digital age. Our generation, we're Gen Xers, and only about 17% of us use dating apps, so on and so forth. And it goes down the older people get. However, it is not going anywhere. It's a part of our culture. So let's go ahead and tap into the best dating sites. First of all, if you are going to use them, you need to ask yourself again, what is your why? Mm-hmm. So don't just get out there and just jump on any dating app. Ask yourself, what are you dating for? It goes back to your intention. So for example, these are a couple of dating apps that are deemed the top 10 dating apps of 2022. However, they're labeled by the intention. Mm-hmm. So if you are a woman, a confident woman, it is said that in 2022, the best dating app for you to be on is Bumble. Now your experience might be different, right? If you just want a quick hookup and like I'm dating because I'm trying to get some sex, like I really am trying to get these body parts.
Don't say it. Wait. Don't say it. I'm gonna see if y'all know. So if you're just trying to hook up, what's the dating app? Put it in the chat. Want to see if y'all know. We're gonna see if y'all know. So if you're just trying to hook up with somebody, what is the best app you would say to accomplish that? I want to see if y'all know exactly what that is. It's a great. The name is out there, and so a lot of people have been getting in trouble with it. But I want to see if y'all know exactly what what app that is.
But as far as Bumble, like Bumble, if you're a woman, Bumble is at the top because it says, like, for example, it's basically like Tinder for women, but women have the ownership. It's free dating app, but women get to make the messaging first, which shares a lot about our society and how things have shifted. Because during our generation, like, I wasn't gonna approach a guy. Like, if you like me, just like I expect you to be a leader, I expected you to approach me, And so, but that was my expectation, my standard, and that was kind of the popularity of the culture we grew up in. Whereas now, no, women are like, no, I'm going to exercise I'm going to shoot my shot pretty much. I'm going to go for what I want. When it comes to if your intention is you want somebody with money. So if you're looking for a match, but no, I want somebody who is a financial powerhouse because I bring my own money career to the table. Match is a dating app where they expect, there's a certain income of people on this app. So you just have to ask yourself, if you're going to use a dating app, what is your intention? What are your expectations? And go from there. eHarmony.
Best for marriage seekers. So if you're interested in actually getting married, then eHarmony, which remember it came out a few years ago, still very popular as it relates to dating individuals that are interested in getting married, actually leading to marriage. And
our young people, millennials, they might say, no, eHarmony, that's for the old. eHarmony is for the old people. But I'm going to tell you like this, right? One reason why I would endorse eHarmony is because it actually uses, and we're relationship counselors. It uses psychology. So it uses a combination of compatibility psychology as well as personality profile to help you be matched with someone that has a stronger connection with you, instead of you looking at somebody that got the abs stretched out. Like I said, if you're looking for a hookup and all of that, you get on dating sites to align with what your intentions are. But if you're looking to be married, you want a life story, not just a sex story, then you definitely want to make sure you're compatible. This is why people pay us counselors. They book sessions because you really want to make sure you know who you are. You've unpacked your personality type as well as making sure you know who you will be compatible with. eHarmony does that.
In a lot of ways, it sounds like making sure you pick the right dating app is akin to making sure you're in the right physical places.
Arena.
If you're looking at meeting someone of a certain ilk, like in the community, if it was a physical place, like, hey, you want to hang out here or you want to go there, if this is what you're looking for. If you're looking at just hooking up with somebody quick, you want to go to this particular entertainment district. If you're looking for a husband, you want to go to this place.
That's true.
So it's the same type of mindset when it comes to a lot of these online apps, is making sure that you're intentional and clear about exactly what your intentions are so that you can adhere to the right app for you. Hey, you guys, this is Before I Do Speak Now Q&A night, and we are loving these questions. Hey, man, I'm loving these questions, and we got to take a quick commercial break, and I don't want to do that. But listen, you're tuned into Before I Do. Y'all stay tuned for more questions, y'all. We'll be right back. All right, everyone, welcome back to Before I Do. Tonight is Speak Now before I do's Q&A session, and we just tackled some really great questions. These are real questions from real people. And so we're going to continue on. Our next question is, can you explain your take on the difference between being equally yoked and compatibility? Now, this is a scripture-based question. Now, the term of being equally yoked comes from the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14.
You better know your Bible. That's sexy.
Now, in this particular passage of scripture, the Apostle Paul is talking to the Corinthian church, and he is admonishing them about their connection and compromising their faith by some of their dealings and interacting with unbelievers. So that is an important context, because what people will oftentimes do is they will take the scriptures out of context. So recognizing that in this particular term of equally yoked, Paul is referring to your spiritual belief. Now, can it be applied to your love interests and relationships? Absolutely. And so we believe that when it comes to your spiritual foundation and your faith, it is critical to have an individual that shares your same faith. If you strip away every part of our relationship, if you take away our jobs, if you take away our everything we've accomplished, if you take away everything, what you will have left is both of us having the same faith as it relates to trusting and believing in God. That is the foundation and the core of us, which means that it is the core of our relationship. So part of being equally yoked is making sure that your foundation, the foundational basis of your relationship and the individual that you're looking to build a partnership with, that partnership is unified in a way that is something that is going to be steady and consistent throughout the years. Now, you mentioned the term compatibility. Now, compatibility is the agreement between two or more objects or items. So a good example is, remember a few years ago when the Apple products weren't compatible and you couldn't use Microsoft Windows systems on them. And I remember how frustrating that was, where you would send somebody a document and they weren't able to open it because they had an Apple product. So those two things weren't compatible. And then a few years later, they came out with the Windows Suite application that you could then open up on Apple. It's the same thing when it comes to relationships, where you can actually have two individuals that are compatible because of the season and the place they are in life. But over time, just like with your electronics and your technology, where because of some updates, because of some changes, because of some shifts, it can oftentimes shift your compatibility. And that is part of the reason why your foundation has to be in order, so that when those storms and when those tests come in life, you can go back and make sure that you're connected.
All right, so this is the educator in me. I'm going to break it down.
We know you are.
Even more, right? The practical. So when I think of compatibility, right, and helping our clients, and what we typically work with is, you're right. Sometimes we're compatible professionally, right? We can be compatible when it comes to our personality, our cultural backgrounds, and things like that. Think of compatibility in that way, but the equally yoked goes back to that spiritual foundation, and in every relationship, because again, God created marriage. So a lot of people plagiarize it and they try to do it without God. Now, we ourselves, real talk, we have hit moments in our marriage, in our 20 plus years of marriage, where guess what? We get tired. We come to the end of ourselves, right? He get on my nerves. I get on his nerves. Yep. I'm going to ring the bell on myself.
That bell about to get thrown out the window.
But what happens when you both get tired, right? You come to the end of yourself, because we firmly believe in the creator who created this institution of marriage. Guess what? That is our core. That is the power source. We can't run a system off of our own energy and rely on that, because we're going to be inconsistent and tired at times. So we plug in to our spirituality, and that is the driving force. That is what renews our strength when we come to the end of ourselves, and life is hard. Crises come up, things come up, and sometimes you're going to have to really lean in to that spiritual understanding to really continue to go forth and do the work. So the equally yoked, that is big. All right. And that's powerful because you don't want to be at odds there.
And part of the reason why Paul uses this example is because a yoke was a tool or mechanism that was used for oxen to actually plow a field. So it's a bar, and then a neck brace that bulls use in order to plow a field. So that speaks to purpose. You can't be yoked together and you've got two divergent purposes where you're going one way and you're doing one thing and I'm going another way. Exactly. Two visions is division, division, two visions. So what we also believe in is that there are the convergence of three purposes when you get married. So just like Charmaine has an individual purpose, and it is my responsibility to support her in the individual purpose that God has instilled in her. I have an individual purpose and a path that God has laid out for me, and it's her responsibility to support me in that. That's why she was brought into my life. Then thirdly, there is a collective purpose that we have been brought together to accomplish and do. So part of that equally yoked is making sure that we're moving in the same direction. It doesn't mean we're doing the exact same things. It means that we complement one another in such a way so that all three of those purposes are fulfilled in our union.
And for example, again, breaking it down even further, one time we had a couple that we were really trying to help them think through their process, because our goal is not to persuade you one way or the other, but for you to have a real experience to make sure you're making clear choices, right?
And to understand yourself and your process.
And so we had a couple that one believed in monogamy and the other person believes in polygamy. And at some point, giving them homework, doing the work, they realized that, what? One was going to give up their belief system for the other person, right? But how long is that going to work if truly deep down, again, that's two visions, that's two levels of understanding, that's two different cultures. And at some point, what happens when that person makes them upset? And I've compromised 20 years in this relationship. I believe in polygamy, but you believe in monogamy. So I'm only going to stay married to you. And I'm not going to marry anybody else because that's not what you want. But when you make me upset, when we're in crisis, am I going to really revert back to my original belief system? How long am I going to commit to your belief system and deny myself, my nature? So it's really important to be equally yoked. And that compatibility piece, I almost look at one as kind of nature and one as nurture.
Yeah, well, it's not enough to be connected with the right person. You have to be connected with the right person for the right reasons. All right, next question.
That's a bail moment.
All right, next question. How do you know if someone is the right person for you? And even though you both may carry some baggage, is it possible to heal together? I really love this question. I really love this question. And we are going to, I don't know when we're going to do it, but we're actually going to do a show called Understanding the Assignment. People talk about now when you walk in somewhere and somebody's dressed real nice, they like to use this term, oh, she understood the assignment, or he understood the assignment, right? It's the same thing when it comes to our...
that ever. So yeah, I guess I'm always out.
People say it like they think it when they see it. But understanding the assignment. So when you are in a relationship with someone, especially if you believe that they're a person that you intend to marry. I talked about Charmaine and the three purposes, right? In those purposes, it hasn't always been smooth. Nope. I haven't always done right. She hasn't always done right. I have flaws. I have challenges. Let me ring the bell.
You did not put that on the customer service survey. See, you got people do. They don't put that on the customer service survey.
But here's the thing. In that yoking together and in that partnership, she is a part of my assignment. I am a part of her assignment. All my flaws, all my issues, all the things she doesn't like, as she mentioned, when she comes to the end of herself, the way that we get that, the way we stay in alignment is that she yields to that higher power, but also to her commitment, understanding that I am a part of her life's assignment. She is a part of my life assignment. So in regard to this question, you will know that the person is right when you are not just when you are not just complementary, but you are compatible, where you are bringing and filling voids and meeting them in a way and providing something for them that they couldn't necessarily provide for themselves, where they are providing and filling voids as it relates to you and your life and your purpose that you necessarily aren't going to be able to provide for yourself. So it's very important that we don't necessarily have to look for, a lot of people are looking for the perfect person. Or I'm looking for the perfect person for me, or this person has to have this, that, and that. And we talked about burning your list a few months ago. And the whole idea is we want to make room for individuals that we are able to complement and that walk with us in our path of purpose, and that understand that they're our assignment and we're theirs.
All right, here go the teacher again. All right, so you're talking about baggage, right? We all are journeying through this life, and we have a bag. We have a suitcase, and so I love using the metaphor of that. In your suitcase, there's some things in that suitcase that you packed and put in it, and there's some things that you didn't get a chance to pack. I didn't get to choose my name. Guess what? That came along with me. My parents chose my name. I didn't get to choose where I was born. I didn't get to choose my socioeconomic class that I was born into. Some of those things, they're in my suitcase, right? And the culture and all of those things, they're in there. And sometimes we like to pretend like when we come into a relationship, I can bring all the good stuff to you, but I don't have any of the bad stuff in there. In that bag, you got the good, you got the great, you got the bad, and you have the ugly. And so the bottom line is we all come with baggage, some of it good, and some of it we have to purge and sort through and do that healing work, right? The difference is I think what I've noticed in a lot of our support for couples and individuals has been people are getting in relationships with the specific purpose of assuming that this relationship is supposed to heal me. I married you. You're supposed to heal me. You're supposed to be my man. You're supposed to be my counselor. You're supposed to be my best friend. You're supposed to be excitement, joy. You're supposed to be my happiness. And if he's supposed to be all of those things, I ask you, that sounds like a God to me. That sounds like an idol. What is your role? No, this is a partnership. I have to own my happiness. I have to own all of those things first. He can only come alongside and partner with me. Yes, the both of us can heal together. But I have to be the leader in my healing. He has to be the leader in his healing. And sometimes I'm the front row witness to some things that he may not even know is an issue, but I see it, right? And so there is a calling for me to help and support and to encourage and to build up. But I cannot he cannot make me an idol. Because guess what? At some point, I'm going to disappoint him. And at some point, he's going to disappoint me.
Unfortunately, in this day and age, too, there's this pervasive thought that marriages and relationships are all about losing the individual self.
Absolutely.
Losing. We hear women say it oftentimes when they become wives and mothers, they end up losing. They end up losing their femininity, the woman's side.
That's out of order.
Absolutely. That is not what marriage and relationships are ordained to be. They are an enhancement of your individuality. There is a place, healthy marriages and relationships provide places for all of those things. Once again, Charmaine has an individual purpose. And that is not going to be abdicated or abandoned because she's in a marriage. I'm actually here to support her in that individual purpose. And we have had challenges where when those individual endeavors that were on her heart before I even met her, when those things came into fruition for her, I was the right person.
Yes.
And I was assigned to support her in that particular mission. And had it not been me, or had it not been her, when it comes to certain things,
had it been a very traditional husband, they would have been like, "No, you're supposed to be. You gonna drive 100 miles to a job? I'm not gonna possibly see you every night. Oh, your job is requiring you now to fly to this city and fly to that city." And so there are some men out there who believe my wife is supposed to be just an accessory to my success. And if that is your motto, then just make sure you're upfront about it, so it saves you some pain later. But there are a lot of women who are realizing that, wow, we have to make sure that we are living in our truth and living on purpose.
You should never lose yourself in your marriage. You should gain a greater understanding and a greater appreciation for yourself.
And it's easy to do, women, because we, especially if children come, you're taking care of your children. You're working, you have your husband. So sometimes it can be very easy to put others before yourself, and it often sounds very selfish to do.
We got one last question for you all. This is good. So, all right, last question for tonight. Why is this not coming up? All right, last question for tonight. What is your take on the impact of the blurring or erasure of gender roles?
Oh, the erasing of gender roles.
Yeah.
Ooh. Well, you know what? First of all, kudos to our Gen Zers, our millennials. Like, literally,
not having it.
They are not having it, and rightfully so. Because people, we've seen the misbehavior of people really taking advantage of their privileges. And so when you take advantage, when your privilege is at the detriment of my ability to thrive and to be my best self, like, that's not cool. So I think, you have a lot more, men staying home with children. You have a lot more women, women businesses thriving. Statistics automatically show or have shown and has been trended for the past decades that more women have degrees than men. So women are in industry, and they're doing a lot more. That equality is there, the equity, we're building equity to get the justice we want. But when it comes to erasing gender roles, that's a whole nother conversation.
Absolutely.
Because
we're talking about the division of labor within the home,
right,
amongst the husband and wife. And a lot of this is come into question really over the past 30, 40, 50 years, when wives primarily begin to become a part of the workforce. And now you have two-parent homes where both parents are actually full-time workers outside of the home. Yep. So then what happened was there was this stressing of the gender roles, and it was fine when the wife was at home full-time and doing all of these things. But now we're both working. So now you expect me to work full-time and come home and keep the house? And it's like, yes, no. Absolutely not. And so there does have to be a mentality. There has to be a shift in our mindset when it comes to gender roles. It not only has to coincide with time, but also with ability and skill set and giftedness as well. People would be surprised to know that Charmaine is actually the technical expert in our relationship. She's the one that hooks up the cable and gets all of the digital stuff online, makes websites and videos and commercials and all of those things. I'm the one, as far as that, is primarily responsible for the children. Yep. I'm the one going to parent-teacher conferences, and if you just heard me I just had to snap at my youngest child just then. I'm the one that's getting children up in the morning. My oldest daughter will tell you that if dad didn't take us to school in the morning, we'd be late every day. Right?
Every day. I'm gonna ring the bell for that. I'm gonna tell the truth on myself.
So it's not so again, if we had subscribed to gender roles, we would have totally screwed up internet and digital service.
Yeah, and I would have felt like a horrible mom because I would not have lived up to the stereotypes of those gender roles. Could I have done those things? Yes. But would I have done them well? Would I have been consistent? Nope. Right. And so we definitely didn't subscribe to that, but that doesn't mean we didn't hear it sometimes from friends, relatives, questioning my womanhood, questioning his manhood because we didn't subscribe. So to me, we really, when we work with couples or individuals, we empower them to first of all operate. Why would you, again, we don't expect fish to fly. You know why? Because that's not even their nature, right? They were designed to swim. And so make your powers a superpower and operate that in your relationship. So every couple needs to build what works for them. Right now, Walter can cook, and I'm gonna just tell you that's very attractive. All right, a man that can cook, right? I can cook too, and he thinks he sometimes say you the better cook, but I love when he cooks. So why should I, feel like that's my only responsibility when he's a great cook? And it's something that really both of us can be empowered to do. And it's important for our children to see their father doing a variety of different things and not really, limiting his strengths to what everybody else says he should be doing.
Yeah, when we pigeonhole our roles as it relates to gender, we really minimize our capacity to be able to accomplish more. By doing that, by putting ourselves in those gender boxes in that way, it really does not serve ourselves or our families well. And that is not what marriage is all about, as far as if you're looking to really maximize your marriage and your relationship.
It really kills a relationship because it says that, because you were born with this genitalia or these organs, you should be good at this, or you should do this, or you should do that. But guess what? In a relationship, you want spontaneity. Like when we talk about intimacy is just not sexual intimacy. Intimacy is a variety of different things. We want variety in our relationship, but in other areas, we want to box people in. So we want to keep things open to, allow your partner's power to become a superpower. Allow them to thrive in it and not judge them because... So if you have a wife and she's a workaholic and she loves to work, she's very, she loves her job, don't guilt her because, she's not as satisfied staying at home with the children and putting the work in there. And don't judge a male or man who wants to stay home and take care of his children.
Absolutely. Hey, y'all, we are so excited that you all joined us this evening for Before I Do and our Speak Now Q&A. We do this the last Wednesday of every month, so be sure next time to get your questions into the number, and also be sure to join us each and every single Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. right here on the Couples Academy channel. And also be sure to reach out to us for a session as well. Yes. We would love to meet with you.
We want to meet with you. We want to hear from you, and we want to make sure you are in a relationship either with someone else, but you are always in a relationship with yourself. So you want to build yourself up, right? So that others see the beauty, the quality, the value in you that you see in yourself.
Like, share, and subscribe at Couples Academy. And on behalf of the Couples Academy, my name is Walter Jennings.
My name is Charmaine Jennings.
You've been tuned into Before I Do. We'll see y'all next week. Peace, everybody.
Welcome to the Couples Academy app. The Couples Academy app is your go-to hub for how to do marriage right. Get started with our app today by perusing our amazing features that conveniently allow you to connect. This app is packed with powerful content and resources to help you grow and stay connected. With this app, you can watch our messages, find marriage resources, watch, listen, and read the real-life stories of restored couples, sign up for events, read articles and blog posts, stay up to date with push notifications, share your favorite messages via Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or email, and download messages for offline listening. For more information about the Couples Academy app, go to couplesacademy.org.